For this presentation, we will focus on the species
Timomus bote.
commonly found in this area and referred to as the pocket gopher, considered an agricultural pest. The pocket gopher is a burrowing rodent of the family.
Geoimidi.
Gophers eat plant roots, shrubs, and other vegetables such as carrots, lettuce, and radishes. There are multiple species endemic to North and Central America. The pocket gopher ranges from 6 to 10 inches in body length. Some anatomical features include fur-lined cheeks, large front incisors for burrowing, whiskers, and a tail to aid in navigation. They normally live between 0 to 3 years. However, few may live up to 5. Their brown fur blends them into the soil they inhabit. Pocket gophers are solitary outside of the breeding season, aggressively maintaining territories that vary in size depending on the resources available. Males and females may share some burrows and nesting chambers during breeding season, but mostly each pocket gopher inhabits its own individual tunnel system.
Throughout the year, gophers remain active, and they have multiple breeding cycles, between 3 and 5, each litter producing between 2 and 10 young. Pocket gophers create a network of tunnel systems that provide protection, warmth, and a means of collecting food. They may use their cheek pouches for transporting food back to their burrows. Unlike ground squirrels, gophers do not live in large communities, and you can seldom find them above ground. Like previously stated, gophers will remain aggressive, defending their territories at all costs. Tunnel networks provide a great resource for gophers, and one seldom goes unused. After a neighboring gopher has died, an opportunistic gopher will reoccupy its tunneling network, and it will do this rather quickly. With their strong short arms and strong incisors, gophers can create tunnels as long as 800 feet. Although they are aggressive creatures, they do have predators. These include coyotes, owls, raptors, snakes, and bobcats. Although these are larger animals, the gopher is not afraid to defend itself. Gophers and moles may be commonly mistaken for one another, but there are key points to look for when trying to identify the pest. Easily distinguishable are their respective mounds. Moles tend to make rounder and more compact mounds, whereas gophers tend to make fan-shaped mounds, typically larger in size. Another difference is between their diets. Moles are not herbivores. They actually eat insects and worms. These mounds can be easily identified. Tunnel entrances can be identified by small or larger piles of loose, moist soil covering the whole opening. These burrows are most commonly found in areas where the soil is moist and can be easily tunneled. Some examples of these areas are vegetable gardens, lawns, and farms, which leads to the frequent identification as pests. Gophers do not discriminate between woody, bulbous, and annual plants, or new rootstock for that matter. Further damage may include destruction of underground utility cables, loss of effective overhead irrigation, loss of rangeland quality, erosion, so their damage is not unique to crops. The gopher is the #1 burrower in North America. The best forms of management are centered around exclusion. A grower may use a wire basket made of aviary wire around roots of plants and trees, or around their crops. Though be wary, depth is an important feature of this practice. It should be a minimum of 2 feet below ground and 6 to 12 inches above a garden bed. Other methods may include trapping. The gopher is a non-game mammal and may be taken anytime, in any way.
One of the best methods for trapping gophers is using the Victor black box. This box actually uses the gopher's own biology against them to end up getting trapped. So there's a hole at the end of the box that allows light to shine through the tunnel, and the gopher naturally will want to plug up that hole, and that will require him to hit the trigger and set off the trap. So to set this type of trap, you want to make sure this little metal bar is out of the way, and you'll push the main bar down and bring that smaller metal piece over. Now you'll connect that little hook so it just lays over to the top, and now that trap is set. And what'll happen is when that gopher comes along to plug up the hole, he'll hit this little bar, and you'll have one less gopher to worry about. The Rodinator is a highly effective way for farmers to manage populations and prevent damage. Though you cannot count exactly how many gophers you euthanize, you can notice results quickly and prevent reinfestation. The Rodinator uses a controlled mixture containing mostly oxygen with a small amount of propane that is sent down into the burrow. After about a minute, a spark ignites an underground shockwave that destroys burrows and collapses tunnels. Gophers will be killed by the concussive force of the explosion. Though effective, this method of control is more expensive, and Rodinators can cost thousands of dollars if purchased new. To get some perspective on how industry professionals manage gopher populations, we headed to J. Lohr Vineyards and Wines. We learned how gophers damage a vineyard and heard of new management strategies.
Perfect.
John Perini, Vineyard Manager and PCA for J. Lohr Vineyards. We do a number of things. We trap when we can.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 guys that go out on a daily basis and trap as they do irrigation. And then we also use chemical means. We use phostoxin certain times of the year, in the winter and spring. When the soil is wet enough, and then in a really bad situation, we'll use a burrow builder, and we'll actually drop bait in a self-made tunnel, a machine-made tunnel. So we can drive that down the rows and just periodically drops bait. We use Maccabee traps. They're just a little bit larger, a little bit more cumbersome, but yeah, they're a little bit trickier to set. Our guys like using traps because they can see, what they've killed as opposed to baits. We do use the bait probes too, but the soil has to be soft for those. Oh, this year it seems like it's been bad all year, but typically spring, early summer are probably the worst times when the soil's a little bit softer. When we replant, I mean that's when it can be the most detrimental as far as a problem with the vines, because they'll just pull the whole vine down underground. They'll chew all the roots and pull the whole vine down. And if you're not controlling gophers during planting, I mean you could get 30-40% loss easy. They can just take out half a vineyard. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So once the vines get developed, 3rd, 4th year, they can definitely still do some damage. You can see the weaker vines that the gophers have chewed on. But once you get into that kind of like 7, 8, 10-year range, then it's mostly just the ground floor management that becomes a huge issue. You get the mounds built up, and then it's rough for the tractors. You get erosion if you get a really rainy year on slopes, just because they're disturbing the natural grass and everything that's there. On a good day, the guys will get between 20 and 30 a day. Yeah, in the traps. Yeah, they'll set 50 traps in the morning. They'll check them at lunch. They'll see how many they get. If they don't have a gopher in the trap, they'll leave it out there, and then they'll reset the traps that they did catch gophers with. So they're typically working 3 guys with 50 traps. Very expensive. That's why we're kind of looking at these burrow builders. I can show you the machine out there if you want. And so this tube creates the burrow, and then it drops seed out the back here from this little tank.